Hi, friends. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Spiritual Scientist. I'm Victor Hamza. Thanks for tuning in. You're gonna notice a little bit different background than the other videos I do. My Wi-Fi is horrible upstairs in my house, so I went to my basement. It's an unfinished basement, as you can see, but we'll work. We'll get it done one day. Oh, it's cold. I'm in the Northeast United States. Cold up here, and just shows you. I wanted to do one. So I'm cold. I'm cold right now. Put my hat on. It's still not helping. I'm freezing. Maybe I should put something more on than my just a vest. But anyway, nice to see y'all. Well, I can't see you. You can see me. So it's a one-way kind of thing. But anybody wants to comment. I'll bring it right out and we'll talk about it live. Kind of neat stuff. Want to do a live video, impromptu live video. Yeah, there's always a lot of stuff to talk about. Lot of stuff. Uh, New Facebook friend I was messaging a little bit said, "Oh yeah," I told him I was going to go live on Facebook. Okay, cool. And we'll see how see your authenticity. So we'll see how authentic you are. And I understand what they're saying. They said they like that word, being authentic. Doesn't get more authentic than me, I think, because my motto is always to speak the truth. So, speaking the truth, leads you to more things. So, let's all try to say the truth as a daily practice, and that's how you can raise your vibration. Everybody talks about that. That's the lingo that we're all using, raising your vibration. So, I mentioned about vibration before. What's that mean? I ended up deleting some of my old videos, but I was led to, I've been a Reiki master now, gosh, 30 years. And I was on Facebook like back in 2010. And, so my friend says, oh, said, I have a headache. So I said, oh, I remember doing distance healing. Let me take care of that for you. And I tried it. And then when it went, and then they referred me to somebody else and they said, "Oh, my friend has a headache, and they're at their job. Can you help with that?" And then that I made that person's headache go away, and they were like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And then it kind of snowballed, and then more people would say, "Oh, I hear you could get rid of headaches by distance. Can you take care of this for me? Oh, my shoulder hurts. Can you do that?" And a lot of trial and error, working out, kind of taking Reiki, but working out my own system for it. And now it's been 8 years, 9 years doing it through Facebook, and I did a lot of work put into making getting it how it works. Just thought maybe I'd talk about doing distance healing a little bit on this. So I end up you know making yourself. You have to make yourself, if through meditation you make yourself not disappear, but make yourself more of a blank slate, right? My glasses look crooked. So make yourself a blank slate. When you're a blank slate, it's like when you're at absolute zero temperature, which I'm feeling right now. I'm pretty cold. Uh, Thanks, Melinda, for saying that. Yes, I healed you. Cool. Uh, always love to see Melinda. You're great. I always love to see. Always when people say, "Oh, he healed me," it's fun. But when you make yourself a blank slate, and I look at someone's picture, then I get in real time. Uh, I get hey, preliminal. Then I get feedback. So I get feedback, and I can see what's going on. Just thought I'd mention some over time. It kind of builds up. Distance with distance healing, you build up. Like I see certain categories that people kind of fall into all the time. One of them, very common with the women, are the ex-boyfriend that was into something like demonic spirituality, or he was doing this or he's doing that. And then through sex or being close to that, the guy being close to a woman, usually that's the case, that they get these negative attachments, then they have a cord going to them, they're always being drained, and then they say that they're losing energy, and they have sometimes like a negative entity. Very common, very common. I come across negative entities. Ooh, shoot. Now I'm running low on power. I just charge up this thing. Maybe it's the cold, sucks all the energy out of everything. But I come across negative entities all the time. I'm a follower of Jesus, so I don't give credit to anything, for myself in a way, but there's a lot of negative, entities out there that are always looking for, an avenue, a window, get in to your energy. A lot like and I won't mention any names. I was messaging with someone today, and I couldn't figure out for a longest time, what was going on with her. I ended up not talking to her for a while to give myself perspective on it, and then I got back. I felt drawn to message her again, and I said, I just don't understand where this negative energy is coming from. I cleared you. I did all the things I thought. And then, I said, let me have your history. Sometimes it's from, a blood relative or a relative. They did negative things, and that goes into your, genetic field because they're, your blood relative, and that's biblical. So that can happen. And then, sure enough, she said, well, I've been doing, I used to do Ouija boards, 20 years ago, and I do it with Scrabble boards, and I'm not mentioning anyone's names. But I do journaling where God tells me what to write. So I'm like, okay, you're channeling, but listen, if you're searching, sometimes you search and you're trying to get up to God, but there's like somebody in the way, like a negative entity, like pretending, and they're gonna, latch onto you and give you, messages and information, but then they're looking to get in, and this person's having a lot of illness. 10% barely life left. So I'll talk quickly. So they're always looking, negative entities always looking for a way in to, siphon your energy and, do negative things to screw up your life so more negative things happen so it could siphon off. I've just seen it so many times, so many times. That these kind of things happen. A lot of illness is that way. I've seen like little, heaven forbid, I hate this, little babies, and little babies with like a tumor, and I go in these forums, do prayers for them, and then I see like their, eyes look reptilian a little bit. And I'm like, the negative entity got in through the baby through the parents having done pretty bad stuff, usually the father, so it just carries on and carries on. And I just see that stuff. So I just thought I'd mention this so people understand, these things, a lot of these illnesses are brought on, by your families, by what you're doing in your life. Those actually, correlate that what you're doing is actually having ramifications on a spiritual level from what you do in the physical level, and and so on. So keep yourself strong. Have a good faith, and certainly in Jesus, and believe in in yourself, and then don't let these negative entities keep yourself, be truthful with everything. And when you're searching, a lot of people are searching, I got channeled information, I got channeled this, and I got channeled that. You have to really know where you're getting this information from. Don't just take the first source that you're getting the information from. Pray on it a lot, pray on it and fast on it a lot. If and understand that most good, angels aren't there to just, they're not going to be sitting there telling you what your girlfriend's doing, who she's inviting to the next party. That's not really what the angels are about. The positive, angels are messengers from God, and if you're getting that kind of information, you're probably getting it from a more of a negative source that's posing as a positive source. So you always want to make sure that you're getting your information, if you are getting information from the correct source. Once you establish that link to those negative entities, it's certainly hard to break. So you want to just, and I feel like my battery's going to run out any second, so if I sign off abruptly, my apologies. So you want to pray, and you want to say the Lord's Prayer and get in a positive mind state before you start you know looking for answers. And one way I've found that really works well is, for me, pray for answers before you go to bed. I was mentioning this before, and and then you'll see the answer will come to you in a dream. Unfortunately, it wakes me up in the middle of the night usually, so I pay attention to my dream. But you could get answers that way. When I was with the Native American Indians, I mentioned this before, we used to light, I was told by the tribe to light tobacco. And when we light tobacco, you say, you pray and say, "Grandfathers, please give me an open dream," an open dream. So an open dream would be, a window into not another reality, but what can happen if you want to know what's going to happen in the future. So those kind of things can certainly help you. I'm not giving out really any information that's not, I think, common sense for most people. I did do a couple of videos back, some really neat, things out that you should definitely, check out. I don't like to repeat myself too much, but I thought it might be helpful to see, for people to understand a little bit about how I do a healing. I kind of figured out a lot about how Jesus did his healings, and meditating and getting yourself, feeling that energy come into you, positive energy from the Holy Spirit, and then use that, to do the healing. That's basically, what I'm doing. But when you're in a negative place in your life, and you have, impacted with, illness, a lot of times I've been seeing, it's just astounding. I heal the spirit that heals your body. So I'm healing your spirit, and then you're healing your own body a lot of times. But you can't do it a lot until you get your spirit, back to where you're supposed to be, and you feel joy in the center of your being, knowing that you're, at one with the universe, being more connected with the universe, and being more in the presence of now. So what I've been doing recently, I watched this other guy, who's another healer, and I clued in on what he was saying. He said, "Well, I just connect people to the universe. I go infinite from their heels, from their feet, infinite to the one side of the universe, and then from the top of their head, I'm connecting to the other, infinite side of the universe, and that connects them back to the universe." And a lot of people are not connected to the universe, okay? You're not connected. You're disconnected. So what do I mean? So for about 2 years when I was younger, this was in 1990s, 94, 95. I couldn't sleep. So I'd wake up, there was this presence, and I couldn't understand the presence, and I felt it. So in my sleep, I'd wake up screaming. I did that for almost 2 years, where, very, very psychically attuned, but I would feel this presence. I would just wake up screaming. And then at night, I would see these, balls of light, come towards me. And I had rejected all the angels and all the helpers. I was really not in a good state of mind at that time. I had a bad breakup with a girlfriend, so I just didn't want anybody near me. So I'd be like, "Go away, go away, go away." I'd banish them, and all the time they're coming to me, all these, they would come, and I'd say no, and I'd push that away, and I like think maybe they were demons or something, because I'd see these, white balls or red balls or all these, would come at night. You see them kind of floating around. I banish them with like, I don't want anything, I'd say. And then at night I would just like wake up screaming because in my dream, the being disconnected from the universe, my subconscious mind and then demons would kind of attack, and I would feel, you know, everybody I loved, everybody in my life would always be getting hurt in different ways, and I could see that. So it's like you were going through like a million lifetimes worth of pain in my brain, and it was always like, this is crazy, this is crazy. uh, I'm getting attacked again and again, and like, melting off your friend's face and whatever it is, using any connection you have to the universe to hurt you. And I was like, I was not connected to source as I'm supposed to be. But I felt this presence, and the presence would wake me up. Is this heavy presence around, and I just like, I was like, there's this, you could feel that vibration, this energy, but it was like separate. And I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I couldn't figure out. And it's like 2 years of me waking up in the night screaming, literally for 2 years, because this presence would just wake me up. I'd be like, I don't know how to get it. Now I'm one with that presence. So now, I went through that envelope. So now it's like dreams are crystal clear. One of the things that helped me was, I met my wife, and when she laid next to me in the bed, I just slept like a baby. I was like, she was grounded me out, and I was like, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. I can't get rid of you. I can't. Now I could sleep. I never had 6, 7 hours of sleep in 2 years. So now I could sleep. I was like, okay, because she was grounded, so grounded, down to earth, let's just say. And I could sleep like a baby. I was like, okay. And then over time, I figured out what that vibration, what that source was. So that vibration, that source, that's like God, right? So that's God in the universe and us being unconnected. So, the correct way now I understand to connect you, we're like a separate entity, like a ball of energy, and a lot of people have like at the top, you're like, it's kind of like broken. It's like this, and with your crown chakra and reaching up. But when you're connected, you have a strong source that connects, through infinity, through to the universe, and then down to infinite universe at the bottom. And when you're more connected, then you're part of the earth, you're part of the universe. And then, you know, once I learned that, I could sleep like a baby and do more healings and things like that. So I thought to tell you that story. I don't know if it helps. I did once. I was messaging with someone else once, and they said that they had the same thing. They were up at night, and they always felt like there was a presence, and they don't understand the presence, and there's a presence around. They couldn't connect to it. They don't know. So I'm helping. Well, I feel like part of my mission is to help reconnect you to source and reconnect you to, the higher vibration that's God, and, and that spirit. And that way, once we're all connected, we're all on the, same page. So I hope that all makes sense to you. That, I had to, I always think that I'm like the test subject, and I'm like going through all this negative stuff so other people don't have to. So believe me, I've been through all of it. I had all the bad things happen so I could get to the good spots. But like I'm stubbing my toe in the dark, and like, ow, and then figure out where not to put my foot. So that way, you don't have to stub your toe. A test object too. Someone said that they feel like they're a test object too, and I know who you are. Yeah, it's like, if you think about us being the shards of God, and we're all like, you know, maybe our lives are being used to, test out this, reality, and then And then when we die, we go back to source, and then everything's kind of figured out. And you go, oh, okay, don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that, do that. So a lot of my life's been more mistakes than not mistakes, but you learn from your mistakes. So and that I was having those dreams and those nightmares where, and I'll just tell you though, I figured out that there's these beings that kind of come into your dream, and then they kind of pretend, their face. They could melt their face, and they could pretend like to be your mother, your brother, your sister, your father, whomever it is, and they'll pretend, and they get close to you, and they're pretending, But I've been in so many dreams and so many lucid dreams, and I figured out. I'm like, you grab them. I would grab them, and then they kind of, then you wake up with, the game's over. They know the game's over when you wake them up. When you wake up, so they come in your dreams, and they have these. Their faces are really, blank. They're like blank slates, and then they'll have these. They'll put these faces on, and they'll act like there's somebody close to you to make you react in a certain way, to give you either messages or to give you information, or make you act out a certain way that they feel might be either beneficial or not beneficial for you. So I was practicing lucid dreaming a lot. And the way you do lucid dreaming, for those who don't know, look at your hands. That's the best way I found. Or walk through a doorway, and when you're walking through a doorway, you're seeing, say, hey, I'm walking through a doorway in reality. And then when you're dreaming, you walk through a doorway and you realize you're dreaming, not being awake. So that's one way to do lucid dreaming. The best way I found from other shamans that taught me, as you look at your hands. So you look at your hands and say, you just look at your hands, and you look at your hands all the time. And then in your dream, you look at your hands and you realize that you're looking at your hands in a dream. And when that happens, then you could lucid dream, and it's pretty cool. And then when you do lucid dream, you'll notice that there's characters around you. And then I'd be like, you're fake, right? And they're like, what? You can see. And a lot of times they would be like alien entities or pretending. And, it just flips you out. I wake up, and a lot of times they were just blank faces, that you realize they're just blank faces, and they're there like as characters pretending to, get you into this drama where you're being sucked into it to make you, react a certain way. A lot of times to make you, your thought patterns go a certain way, and make your body react a certain way, energy centers. And a lot of times you're being tricked, for instance, to do bad things, in your dream. And how far can they push you? How far can they push you? So those things happen. They test you all the time. So you're being tested. I would always get tested in dreams. Let's try to get them to murder somebody. What would be the case to have Victor, kill somebody? Well, if they put a gun to somebody he loves' head, and the only thing he had, and let's give him a knife, and let's see if he'll actually stab the other person. And so, I've been through those kind of scenarios, like literally millions of different times. And at those times where they were always trying to, get you to react a certain way, to commit kind of a sin on that level. So when you wake up, you don't even realize that you had some kind of a, you had this kind of sin or something happen, but that goes against your soul. And they're always trying to, sometimes negative entities, when they could get to me, were always trying to, make those kind of things happen. And then you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I'm this. And, you don't feel energized. You don't know what's going on. But somewhere in your subconscious mind, you made contact with these, entities, and they're playing a game on you, and they're always trying to, use you, and not, for their own nefarious purposes. So what I'm saying is, we have, take the power back, like that Rage Against the Machine song. You have to, if you practice lucid dreaming, which I did, then you wake up, and a lot of times I would wake up screaming, like I said, and then I ended up being connected more to source. And then, you have more power, in your dream, and then you could take over and not let them, you know, test you all the time and attack you and hurt you. So that was something that helped me a lot, to overcome. And there's, in Hinduism, there's, it looks like a three, right? So, and with a line above it, and what that really means is there's kind of four levels to our reality, right? We have the subconscious, we have the dream state, we have the waking state, we have an enlightenment state, and then there's another state where it's like the state of supermind. Uh, yes, if they can get to you, they'll use your family members as a host to attack you. Correct. So that's what the, Hinduism, 10,000, 20,000 year, religion. Religion again means the, understanding what our forefathers were teaching us in the past. So the information's been passed on, might as well use it. So that symbol of the Om is being able to take all those aspects and bring that together, right? So when you're able to conquer your subconscious, and then your conscious, and then and then your enlightenment, and then the supermind, that's when you get to, that's when your integration to more of a fifth dimensional mind state. So you can't get there without, knowing the lucid dreaming, without getting through these levels. You can't get there. And then when you understand that in the dreams, then you could use that in your regular life. So all these kind of things, dovetail together. So when you're dreaming, you use your hands, and you look at your hands, and both hands, and you could look at them during the day and just, practice a few times a day, just looking at your hands, say, I'm awake, and look at your hands, I'm awake. It'll happen real fast. When you do that, 10 times a day, whatever. And then when you're sleeping, you'll happen. You'll get to that, I believe you'll get to a delta level of sleep, and all of a sudden you're looking at your hands, and you wake up in your dream, and it'll be cool. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, maybe nothing will happen. Maybe you have an entity, coming at you, and you don't realize it, and they want to play a game, play a test, or doing something. Maybe they're teaching you something. It's good to know, what the lesson is. So once you start understanding your dreams, then you can understand your reality more. So that's a key. I'm just telling you, one of the keys to your reality is understanding. If we don't understand our dreams, how can we know when we're awake? Amber, when you were attacked, did it feel like a lapse of mind control? Um, I don't know if you're talking to me or Amber, but did I feel like, I'll answer that as myself. Did I feel like I had a lapse of mind control? I don't know if that really makes sense. What I would say is they're trying to elicit a lot of times, like I was saying, an emotional response, to make you react a certain way, and to make you commit a certain act. Uh, so you know, so put Amber's on here. So when you commit a certain act, like if they want to hurt somebody, or get, do something negative, steal, or commit, like one of the sins, commit, um, break the commandments, then you'll find out, you're like, oh, okay, that's what you were up to. You were trying to get me to break a commandment in my dream. Once they try to control I think that what these negative entities will do is try to, like, hop a ride on your energy. What I find most times, I don't, and I've been doing healing for a long time, I don't feel like the, demonic beings are out to, like, they're not, how do I say it? They're not like commanding you to do things, but they're like giving you, kind of like, you always have free will. but they're like painting a picture for you and making you, say, oh, wouldn't it be nice if wouldn't it be cool if you go in that bank and rob it? You could get all this cool money for it and nobody would get hurt. And, you get ideas like that. So I think that they're more painting a picture. I think everybody does have free will, not being subsumed, but you have to, use your free will, exercise it, and actually consciously try to do, good things. And I say try because, mankind, we're all fallen, right? So when you try to do good things, you're trying, you know, you act that way and then those things happen. So if you trying to do good things and trying to be charitable and do charitable things, then more positive things are happening in your world. I have a lot of people say, to me, I know I'm a really good person, and you could just I've done this before. I say, okay, what good have you done? I mean, I know it sounds harsh, but okay, what good have you done? They're like, well, I didn't yell at my mom. I didn't yell at this person. Um, so that it's what have you done? Have you gone out of the way to help a stranger? Have you donated to charities and not told anybody about it? Have you done this? Have you done that? Those kind of things. Help build up that good karma in your. That way, when you have these dreams, you could just laugh at these beings. You're like, "Pfft, yeah, right. You're gonna get me to do that, And when your aura, ends up being like, white, and you go to sleep, and I know I'm gonna have not troubled dreams, because clear out all that subconscious garbage, that plagues us all. A lot of people are doing drugs, like drugs, alcohol, all these things to try to alleviate the pain. I had somebody recently that had addicted to alcohol, and his mother saying, I want you to help me get him stopped addicted to alcohol, through healing. So I'm like, okay, let me get some background. Let me guess, you're divorced from your husband, and I just get a feel, he's doing something really negative with evil, that it's affecting your son because they're genetically very similar. And when it's affecting him, his soul is rebelling against it. So he's looking for drugs and alcohol to make himself not realize that his bloodline's sinning. She's like, well, my husband is, now going out with a woman who calls herself a witch, and she does channel, negative spirits all the time, and they're having, sex together. I'm like, uh-huh. So that's what it is. So a lot of times, when I'm doing, healing with somebody, and they say, okay, I want you to help me with this person is alcoholic, I'll find out like their father, like for instance, in this case, their father was having sex, basically channeling demonic spirits all the time in the witch. So he is trying to, you know, his spirits were, says no to that, but he doesn't know how to affect it. The only thing that he has, the medicines he's taking, is drugs and alcohol, to make himself, not he just can't deal with all that sin. It's just hitting him, all that negative at once, and it's overloading his system. I find that a lot. I find those kind of things happen all the time, especially with alcoholics or drug addicts. I do a lot of distance healing. I'll find out that there is either they've been through it, or one of their relatives have gone in down that path with negative entities and spirits, and that's why they're drinking. That's why they do alcohol. That's. I haven't found a case where that wasn't the case. So just so I could say that out loud and put this, on YouTube. So maybe that'll help. The only reason I'm mentioning all this is not to aggrandize myself, not to make myself look better, is to help everybody else out there, right? So now what's going on. Yeah, and I had other people that I've had a woman that, had all these medical issues. Oh my God, that's so loud. Sorry, I'm signing off soon. So I had a woman that had all these medical issues, and I cleared her all of the negativity, cleared it, and I couldn't get it. Where's the negativity coming from? I couldn't get it. And then I had to ask her a history, and then her mother, does drugs, and her mother takes pills, and then her father was really bad too. Was doing some kind of, always hated God, and that's a big no no. And when you hate God, when you're hating on God and cursing out God every day, I mean, what do you think's gonna happen? But I kept clearing her. I'd be like, okay, you're healed, and I know you're healed. I did so much energy work on her. I'm like, I know you're healed, and I'm like, and it just came to my mind, like, and your family's and your mother's healed. So contact the mother, and the mother stopped. And the mother stopped doing drugs a little bit, but then she started again, and then the help that made the daughter get back to her pain issues. I said, it's you're all connected. We're all on the train together. When you fix the head of the train, then the caboose is going to go. So it's definitely connected. But right, someone's just commenting when you're on the more higher your vibration, alcohol, drugs, they lower your vibration. TV lowers your vibration. If you're 1 to 1,000, TV's definitely below a 400. So those kind of things, lower. And when I say lower your vibration, that's where we could get, alcohol and all these things. It'll lower your vibration enough where illness could creep in. And it's tough, once you get to a certain level, you don't want to drink anything anymore. You go socially, and then you're like, oh, I'm not drinking. And everybody, looks at you funny, like, why? What's wrong with you? Why aren't you drinking? I'm like, well, I've been fasting and praying and meditating, and I'm like in a different mindset, and they don't get it. But anyway, um, hope I didn't talk too much. Hope I didn't talk not enough. Anybody want to say anything before I was sign off? I was committed to give that up since 2009. Yeah, we all have, people that we know are alcoholics and or in drugs in our lives, or friends of family members, and I try to tell them, hey, get to me, message me. I'm happy to, work with you and get you off those kind of things. Sometimes I feel like stopping drinking is easier than stopping smoking. I mentioned this, it was like 2 weeks ago. I stopped someone who was smoking for 40 years, 3 packs a day. I did 3 healings. She stopped. So it was very, exciting that happened, and I enjoy it. Yeah, I'm not saying, everything in moderation, right? But I think in this higher vibrational arena that we're now in, I think it's so important to keep yourself at a higher vibrational frequency, because this isn't, I'm starting to fade out here with the my Wi-Fi, but we're not in the same vibrational arena that we're at before. Okay, we're on a new earth right now, as I've mentioned before. So this is a different ball game. There's different things at play, and we're on a different, but this is a different playing field with different characters. Same characters acting different ways. So we're on a lot of the entities on the old Earth were cleared out. Those entities are all back. So a lot of those were, when I'm saying entities, a lot of those, you know, minor deities, which were cleared off the playing field before. I feel like in this multiverse reality dimensional time set are back. So it's like old with the new. High vibration much as possible. So I clean up my diet. You have to You have to Google it, you know, clean out your pineal gland, look for that. That'll help out a lot. You know, look for a diet that cleans out your pineal gland. That's one of the keys. You know, that's a once you're on a, walnuts. Walnuts is one of the things that helps out a lot. Olive oil, really good. Olive oil. They did a study with rats. They said olive oil, rats that they gave to drink olive oil every day versus a control group. The rats that drank olive oil lived 20% longer lives than the rats that did not. I mean, look at that. Anyway, and hope you got something out of it. Love you guys. Other than do this. I have a I have a Facebook page, Victor Hamza. I have a website. It's my name, victorhamza.com. I'm starting to sell crystals, which is pretty cool. I've been doing that for a long time, but I'm starting to offer that. And my motto on the website's now crystals. I'm starting to get choppy, so that must mean my time's up. Thanks so much. Like, subscribe, share.